Hello. Today we're going to be looking at graphing in polar form for theta. So these are in polar form, so our coordinates are radius and then degree in radians. So let's start by creating a table of values. So we'll have theta up here and we'll have radius down here. Draw a line and we'll go up in increments of pi on 6. So we'll start at 0 radians. So at 0 radians, we have cosine 0. Cosine 0 is 0, so we're left. Cosine 0 is 1. So 1 times 4 is just 4. On to the next one. Now I have pi on 6. Pi on 6. Cosine of pi on 6 is just 3 over 2 times 4. That's going to leave us with 2 root 3. Then we're going to go pi on 3. Pi on 3. Cosine is just going to equal a half. Half times 4 is 2. Going to have pi over 2. That over 2 is just 90 degrees. With cosine of 90 degrees is nothing. 4 times nothing is nothing. And we have pi over 3. And that's equal to 5 pi over 6, which is negative 2, 3. I'm going to continue our table down here. Pi, which will give us negative. And then we can repeat this process all the way to 2 pi, which is a full revolution. And what we'll find is that this pattern now go back in reverse towards 2 pi. So from negative 4, then go back down to negative 2 root 3, then negative 2, then 0, then 2, then 2 root 3, then 4. So with that in mind, we can now sketch this. So let's start with distance 4 of 0. So go 1, 2, 4 units across. Then we'll put a point. And then go 6 degrees up. And 2 root 3 distance. That's there. Go to 2 and pi on 3 there. Then go pi on 2. It's going to be distance nothing. Now we're going to cut into our table, so I'm going to change colors. So 2 pi on 3, that's this line up here. But we're going negative distance, so we go back away from what would be up here, and then we go back to instead. Yeah, it's here. Go to 5 pi 6. again, we have negative distance. Come to here. Then we go pi a full revolution, we're going back. Go pi, perfect distance, and we're back at 0. And you'll see that this process will repeat itself, and what will end up happening is that a circle now this circle, as horrible as this may be, so why does this form a circle? Let's prove it. So let's look at our original equation, theta. So what is our r value? Let's refresh ourselves. R is just the distance away from the origin, which is just x squared plus y squared rooted. Now that we have that in mind, I'm going to times r by both sides, so I now have r squared equals r cos theta. So this r squared cancels the root, so we now have x squared plus y squared equals, and then this r cos theta at our triangle here is theta, x, we have y, and if we were to take our cosine of theta, get adjacent divided by hypotenuse, which is just x over r. We times r on both sides, we have r cos theta equals x. And from that we can just sub that in, so we now have 4x here. Now we can transpose this 4x to the other side, so we have x squared minus 4x plus y squared equals 0. And I now want to factorize this using completing the square. So we have x squared, half of 4, negative 4 is 2. Squared plus y squared, and then we need to minus 4 to keep it equal, but I'm going to transpose the 4 to the other side. So now we have a expression that is actually very closely related to circles. So what we've done is we've essentially identified two things. We've identified the midpoint of our circle, and we've also identified our radius. Because our radius is r squared, we can just take the square root of this value and we can work out the radius of our circle. So in this case our radius is going to be 2. We've also, the second thing that we've found is that we've also found the midpoint of our circle. So our midpoint is always the opposite of what's in these brackets here. So what we've found is the midpoint of our circle is the opposite of what's in the squared brackets here. So we have a negative 2, the opposite is 2. And here you can imagine that we have a minus 0. The opposite of that is just positive 0. And we have found our midpoint. So when we go to graph this, have our midpoint at 2. This will go all the way out to 4. And then we'll go up here to where 4 is. And down here to where minus 4 is. And it will just gently graze the origin, and what we get is a circle. Just like the one that we found earlier when we put r equals 4 cos theta. So that's all the time that I have for polar graphing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or contact me on social media, and I will see you in the next video.